Hello, my viewers, and welcome to today's discussion, where we confront a complex and sensitive issue. Now, we all know that Hurricane Helene has left a trail of devastation across the southern United States, disproportionately affecting sundown towns with troubled histories of racial exclusion. Now, while some may view this as poetic justice, we must pause to consider the human cost of this disaster. Thousands have lost their homes, livelihoods, and loved ones. The suffering is real. Regardless of the town's problematic past, the suffering is real, guys. Now, as we hear from our Black brothers and sisters, we should be reminded that natural disasters know no color, creed, or socioeconomic bounds. They spare no one. Some have expressed gratitude, even attributing the destruction to divine intervention. However, we must not lose sight of our shared humanity. I feel celebrating tragedy only perpetuates divisiveness and ignores the inherent value of every life affected. So with that said, let's take a look at these videos. I will be right back. And when I get back, I share my 2 cents on this.
Alright, y'all. So after my video yesterday that has been kind of going viral, I was speaking about the sundown towns and how the Hurricane Helene it seemed to me like it hit a lot of sundown towns. There's a lot of people that are disgruntled by that, saying that, you know, it wasn't all white people and blah, 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 blah. But it is what it is. But I did get a big question on what exactly are the sundown towns. So I would like to start this little trend, or can everybody just comment, no matter what state you in, what area you in, if where you live at has a sundown town, could you please put it in the comments below so that we could generate a list of every sundown town in every area in every state. Appreciate y'all. This is for us.
Grand Rising TikTok. Man, I just found out that the hurricane only hit all sundown towns all across the South. Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, all them sundown towns, God came through and wiped out the whole city. And remember now, we got 3 more hurricanes coming next week. I hope Yahushua will make it 15 hurricanes. I mean, this is good news. This is good news. I love hurricanes. I tell you, I love hurricanes. I love tornadoes. I love that. I love it because that's the work of God. Anytime God do some work like that, that's his work. We can't do nothing about it. Just stay out of it. Just leave. And when you come back, you ain't gonna come back to no.
Something else that I noticed. When palm color people are triggered, they attack the person that's telling the truth. I've never been called racist so many times in my life. I've never been cursed out so many times in my life for telling the truth. I must be doing something right. I must be doing something right. I must be doing something right because I have no problem with y'all taking y'all anger out on me. Again, there are melanated people that got devastated by Hurricane Helene. My heart goes out to everybody that was devastated by Hurricane Helene. That does not stop the fact that sundown towns were devastated. Asheville was actually stolen from black people. I'ma leave that there.
Did y'all hear about them sundown towns that just got swept away in the hurricane? Well, I bet y'all didn't know. Oh, you did? Okay, good. I bet y'all didn't know that just days prior to them getting swept away in a hurricane, which, by the way, only the sundown towns got affected as badly as we see it on our timelines. Yeah, but just days prior to that, guess what? On Telegram, right? Apparently, there's a group. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they just got caught by Homeland Security and the FBI. Now, apparently, word on the street is allegedly they've been planning to do incite a race war here in America. The plan was to incite a global race war. Baby, it's people from all over the globe in that group, in that Telegram group. Look it up. It's here on TikTok. They got a video about it as well. Apparently, word on the street is that they was teaching each other how to make them kablooies, smablooies, the big kablooies, smablooies, so that the ones that got pipes in them. They was teaching each other how to do that, how to do them acts of, I can't say it because of community guidelines, but use your imagination. It goes in a box and you package it up and you leave it. Okay, it may come with a detonator. They was teaching each other how to do that. They was giving each other advice on how to fulfill these tasks, and basically it was all due to the election. It was going to start kicking off around the election. As you could tell, we're close to the election. So for 30 days, things were supposed to kick off here, there, everywhere. They all plan to do it globally, and they was just caught by Homeland Security. Now, how is it that y'all was just caught by Homeland Security, and then like literally days later after you're caught by Homeland Security, all of a sudden 3 hurricanes sweep through, and the only thing that gets taken out is them sundown towns? Baby, God is trying to tell you something. Let go of that hate from your heart, because it is driving you into the deepest, darkest pits of hell. We not even worried about y'all like this. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Baby, I know y'all hate to lose. Y'all really do hate to lose. Oh my God. They're like, who does this? Y'all, they was gonna start here in America, and it was gonna become a global thing. It was just gonna be stuff happening globally, and all of it starting with America and then just going everywhere to every other country. There's people from literally every country you could think of in that group, and they are pissed that the colored folks is waking up and we on our grind. We doing what I do. They pissed right now. They don't want to see no black woman in that office, so they was ready to insurrection Armageddon style. Yeah. God trying to tell y'all something. Maybe y'all should listen.
All right. So before we continue, let me just say, I am a brown-skinned, melanated girl that survived Katrina and lost everything in floodwater. Okay, so let's get that straight. But now we're gonna get into this. It's come to my attention that a lot of people on this app don't realize that sundown towns still exist, or even know what a sundown town is. So let me catch you up to speed, okay? So sundown towns are basically towns where melanated people either need to be inside at a certain time, or they need to be outside of the city limits at a certain time. And like I said, those still exist in 2024. If you don't believe me, all the people that drive from New Orleans to Houston to New Orleans, y'all know there are certain cities on I-10 that you not gonna stop at. You don't care if your tires falling off. You don't care if your whole front end falling off. Your car could be smoking. There is no way in hell you gonna stop in those certain cities along I-10 on your way either to Houston from New Orleans, or from Houston to New Orleans. Like, you're not gonna stop. Sundown towns are the reason why we pack food for the road. If y'all don't believe me, y'all could go online and Google a map of all the sundown towns that still exist. And it's just mighty coincidental that Hurricane Helene flooded out a lot of those sundown towns. No, I'm not saying that they deserved it. I don't want y'all to think that I'm saying. I don't think anybody deserves to lose their entire lives, at the blink of an eye because of a storm. But it's mighty coincidental. Okay? They exist. Don't be delusional. They're still out there. There's still racism out there. I feel like people brushing it under a rug because it's a tragedy. I get that. But the facts of the situation is that a lot of these places were sundown towns. Do I think people or anybody deserve? No. But again, the facts are that a lot of these places that flooded out unexpectedly were sundown towns. Feel free to go ahead and Google it. Not all, but some of them. Most of them. A lot of them.
Now, last week, Hurricane Helene swept across the southeastern United States, unaliving more than 130 people and causing up to $160 billion in property damage. Now, when devastating natural disasters strike, a lot of people often look for explanations. And in this one too, people are looking for explanations. Just like it was taken as near gospel that 2005's Hurricane Katrina was God's way of punishing New Orleans for being, well, New Orleans. In 2012, conspiracy theories suggested that President Barack Obama created Hurricane Sandy using a military research program to boost his re-election odds against Mitt Romney. Meanwhile, an army of experts have blamed climate change for virtually every adverse weather event in the past decade, including this most recent one. But now, from the biblical destruction of Hurricane Helene, a new theory has arisen. The storm, guided by unseen anti-earth to the sea spiritual forces, deliberately ravaged sundown towns, just like other people are saying it. Now, in Jim Crow era, United States sundown towns were all palm color municipalities that got their name from signs that directed Black people to leave by nightfall under the implicit threat of unaliving. Now, talking of answers or explanations, numerous people have used this Hurricane Helene as an opportunity to argue online that sundown towns still exist. Now, we all know that there's some sundown towns which still exist. That is a fact. But in this TikTok, which has nearly 100,000 views, a self-professed Hurricane Katrina survivor says that sundown towns are still out there, which is the truth. Now, this person says, before saying I feel like people are brushing it under the rug because it's a tragedy, and I get that, but the facts of the situation are that a lot of these places were sundown towns. Now, in this TikTok video, which has 20,000 likes, a guy argues that the hurricane veered off the course it was supposed to take and instead hit a bunch of sundown towns. The ancestors are not playing. They need to destroy all those towns just like they came in and destroyed ours, said one commenter on X. God said no vengeance is better than his, said another. Now, as evidence that sundown towns still exist, users often cite a crowdsourced map maintained by Togalu College, a historically Black university in Mississippi. I'm so happy that all of these southern states and towns are getting their homes washed away, their children, their parents, their animals, their whole entire lives washed away. All praise the Most High. Now, do you hear how crazy, sick, disgusting, and twisted that sounds? Like, do you really hear how it sounds? Now, I've been seeing so many of my people talk about how they are happy and overjoyed that Hurricane Helene has come and done its damage, and specifically in reference to sundown towns. Now, I don't know what kind of earth you are living in, but do you all understand that it's not just only palm color people in a lot of these towns? First and foremost, actually, God created us all in his own image. And it is so sick and disgusting that I'm seeing people praising God for this in their statement. It's not funny. We all know it's not funny. And it is not a joke. I mean, where's the compassion? Where's the empathy? Yes, there's so many horrible things that have happened to Black people as a group. But that doesn't mean we should want horrible things to happen to others as well. God says that we are supposed to walk in his image. We are supposed to treat others how we want to be treated, no matter what people do to us. Now, get me right. I'm not saying that I'm happy with what happens in sundown towns. We all know the horrible things that happens in sundown towns, especially to Black people. But what I'm saying is that people celebrating this, I feel it isn't just right. Now, it is reported that at least 63 people have been unalived and millions have been left without power as Hurricane Helene rolled through the southeastern U.S. In North Carolina, more than 400 roads remain closed, with the mountain town of Asheville largely cut off. Supplies are being airlifted to residents, State Governor Roy Cooper said. Now, officials continue daring rescues with boats, helicopters, and large vehicles to help those stranded in floodwaters, including about 50 workers and patients who crowded on the roof of a flooded hospital. It was the most powerful storm on record to hit Florida's Big Bend and moved north into Georgia and the Carolinas after making landfall overnight. Now, insurers and financial institutions say damage caused by the storm could run into the billions of dollars. Roads and houses were submerged, with one family describing to BBC News how they had to swim out of their home to safety. Although Helene was weakened significantly, forecasters warned that high winds, flooding, and the threat of tornadoes could continue. Helene, which had been a Category 4 storm, came ashore and remained a hurricane for 6 hours after it made landfall, according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, the National Hurricane Center said a storm surge heightened water levels, mostly caused by high winds blowing water towards shore, reached more than 50 feet. 4.5 meters above ground level across parts of Florida coast. It is the 14th most powerful to hit the U.S. since records began, at approximately 420 miles, 675 kilometers wide. it is behind only 2 other hurricanes. Now, you all must know that I'm not here to dictate what you should think or feel, but I just shared my honest thoughts. As I reflect on the devastating impact of Hurricane Helene on sundown towns, I'm left with a nagging question. Is it right for us to celebrate this tragedy? Now, I understand the painful history and ongoing struggles of our communities in these towns. Systemic racism and exclusion have left deep scars. Does that justify rejoicing over destruction and human suffering? I don't know, but share your thoughts as well in the comment section and let's have a conversation. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video as I bring you another interesting video.